Ladies, let me tell you something that's gonna save you some sleepless nights and a whole lot of overthinking. When a man acts distant, when he starts pulling back a little bit, it does not always mean he's done with you. Mixed signals don't mean no signals. You gotta understand how men operate, because if you don't, you'll read every little pause, every little silence as a breakup in progress. And most times, that ain't what's really going on. See, men are simple, but we're complicated at the same time. And I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. A man can be absolutely hooked on you, completely into you, and still have moments where he seems to vanish emotionally. You'll be sitting there like, wait a minute, yesterday he was texting me good morning, good night, and telling me how fine I look, and today... Crickets? That switch confuses women, but let me tell you what's really happening. A man pulls back not always because he's losing interest, but because he's processing. Men don't process emotions the way women do. You all talk it out, you share, you vent, you express. Men, we retreat. We go silent, we disappear into our own heads, and sometimes that makes you feel like we're pulling away from you. But in reality, we're trying to sort through our fears, our doubts, our feelings, and yes, sometimes even our commitment issues. Think of it like this: when you plug your phone in to charge, you don't see the electricity moving, you don't see the battery bars filling up. It looks like nothing's happening, but the truth is something is happening. That's how a man works when he's quiet. He might be charging up emotionally, mentally preparing himself for what he feels about you. He's hooked, but he's trying to figure out how deep he's in and if he's ready to deal with all that comes with it. And here's the kicker. If he's distant, but he's still showing up in little ways, sending that "did you eat?" text, asking how your day went, making sure you're safe, then trust me, that man is still invested. A man that doesn't care at all won't even bother. Distance without care means gone. Distance with care means he's hooked but wrestling with himself. Let me tell you, ladies, men have this fear we don't talk about. It's the fear of losing our freedom, the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of exposing emotions we don't fully understand ourselves. A man can adore you, admire you, and still pull back because those feelings scare him. You ever seen a man act like he's cool, calm, and collected, but deep down his heart is racing because he's never felt this way before? That's when you'll see the mixed signals, because he's trying to act tough, but he's already gone for you. The worst mistake you can make in those moments is chasing harder. If you start calling more, texting more, demanding answers while he's in that retreat mode, you're only gonna push him further away. Men don't respond well to pressure when we're in our heads. What you gotta do is let him have that space, but watch his actions. If his actions are still aligned with care and attention, you got your answer, he's hooked. And here's another truth. Men test themselves more than they test you. When we feel ourselves getting in deep, we step back like, hold up, am I really ready for this? Can I handle loving this woman the way she deserves? That distance is not always about you. It's about him checking himself. And if he comes back, and most times he will, he comes back clearer, more certain, and more committed. So ladies, stop letting mixed signals drive you crazy. Learn to read between the lines. If a man acts distant, don't automatically assume it's over. Instead, pay attention to the consistency of his care. Watch what he does when he thinks you're not watching. That's where the truth lies. His silence is not the absence of love. It's just the language of a man who's trying to get his mind in sync with his heart. Mixed signals don't mean no signals. They mean he's human. They mean he's working through his own emotions. And sometimes distance is just the pathway a man takes to come back closer, stronger, and more certain about you than before. That's about 700 words, written as if Steve Harvey was breaking it down with humor, truth, and wisdom. Ladies, let me tell you something that'll change the way you look at men forever. Actions over words. Now I know y'all love hearing the words. You want that "I love you," "I miss you," "I can't live without you" on repeat, and I get it. Words sound sweet. But here's the truth. A man can talk all day and mean none of it, and another man can barely say a word, yet he'll show you with his actions that you're his world. See, men are not always verbal creatures. Most of us didn't grow up being taught to express ourselves with feelings and flowery speeches. Nobody told us it was okay to say, "Baby, you make me feel safe," or "I'm scared to lose you." Nah, we were raised to tough it out, hold it in, and keep it moving. But one thing about a man, if he cares, if he's hooked, if you really matter to him, he'll show you in his behavior not just as vocabulary. Think about it. A man may not say "I love you" 10 times a day, but he'll gas up your car so you don't have to worry about it. He may not sit down and write you a poem, but he'll make sure your door is locked at night and that you got home safe. He may not tell you he's thinking about you every minute, but you'll notice that little text in the middle of his busy day. Did you eat? That's not just a question, that's a man saying, "I care about your well-being." Now here's where women sometimes get it twisted. You're waiting for the grand gesture, the big declaration, the roses and the speeches, when the real proof of his love is already in the little thing. Let me break it down for you. A man that's playing games will feed you words and leave you starving for action. A man that's serious will feed you action even when he ain't saying much. Ladies, look at his consistency. That's the secret. Anybody can do something nice once in a while. Anybody can act romantic on your birthday or show up with flowers after a fight. But the man who is really invested, he's consistent with the little stuff. He shows up, he checks in, he protects your peace without even making a big deal about it. And I know y'all love stories, so let me give you one. I once talked to a woman who said, "Steve, my man never tells me how he feels. I don't think he loves me." I asked her, "Well, what does he do?" She said, "He fixes my car, he brings me lunch, he makes sure the kids are taken care of when I'm working late." Well, I had to stop her right there. I said, "Baby girl, that man is shouting his love at you every single day. You just ain't hearing it because it don't sound like the love songs on the radio. But trust me, it's louder and more real than anything you'll ever hear." See, men communicate love in a different language. Our actions are the sentences, our consistency is the paragraph. You just gotta learn to read it. If he's showing up for you, if he's checking on you, if he's protecting you in ways you might not even notice, he's invested. Now, don't get me wrong, words matter too. Nobody's saying you shouldn't want to hear them. But if you had to choose between a man who only talks and never shows up versus a man who shows up every day but doesn't talk much, you better believe the one who shows up is the real deal. Ladies, actions are where you find the truth. A man might not always verbalize his feelings, but pay attention to the small, consistent behaviors. Look at how he treats you when nobody's watching. Look at whether he prioritizes your peace, your happiness, your safety. That's where his love is. So the next time you're wondering if he's hooked, don't get stuck on the silence. Don't overthink because he ain't writing you love letters or giving long speeches. Just look at what he does. Because when a man is invested, his actions will say everything his mouth won't. And once you learn to listen with your eyes instead of just your ears, you'll see the truth clear as day. He may not say it every minute, but he's showing it every single time. That's your 700 word expansion in Steve Harvey's real, hawk, humorous, storytelling style. Ladies, let me break this down for you, because if you've ever been in a relationship or even talking to a man who sometimes feels close and sometimes feels distant, you've probably been caught up in what I call the push-pull game, and trust me, it's confusing. One day he's calling, texting, wanting to see you, telling you how much he likes being around you. The next day, he's quiet, distant, almost acting like you don't exist. And you're sitting there like, what is going on? Am I imagining this? No, baby, you ain't imagining it. That's the push, pull. Now here's what you gotta understand. Men use distance in different ways. Sometimes it's about testing boundaries, sometimes it's about holding on to independence, and sometimes it's about protecting a part of themselves they ain't ready to expose yet. But let me give you a secret. If he keeps coming back, if he keeps orbiting around you even after he pulls away, chances are he's already hooked. See, men don't waste energy on women they don't care about. If he didn't want you, you wouldn't be feeling that push and pull at all. He would have pulled out completely, and you'd never hear from him again. The very fact that he comes close, pulls away, then circles back around. That means you've gotten into his system, you're in his thoughts, you're in his feelings, and now he's trying to manage that in the only way he knows how, by sometimes pulling back to get his balance. Think about a rubber band. The tighter it stretches, the more it has to snap back before it can stretch again. That's how men operate emotionally. When they feel themselves getting too close, too vulnerable, too invested, they snap back for a moment, not because they don't care, but because caring that much feels unfamiliar, even scary. But here's the thing, just like a rubber band, after it snaps back, it stretches again. That's why he keeps coming back into your space. He's hooked, but he's scared of how hooked he is. Now, ladies, I know this game can make you feel crazy. You start overthinking, questioning yourself, asking, what did I do wrong? Did I say something? Did I push too hard? Most times it ain't about you at all. It's about him fighting his own battle between independence and vulnerability. A man values his freedom. It's in our DNA. But when he finds someone he genuinely wants, freedom starts to feel like it's slipping away. That tension makes him pull back. And yet the pull of his feelings for you makes him come right back again. That's the game. But it ain't always intentional. Sometimes it's just instinct. The key is to recognize the difference between a man who's truly interested but afraid, and a man who's playing games because he doesn't take you seriously. The one who's truly hooked will always circle back. He won't vanish completely. Even in his distance, you'll notice he's still keeping tabs, liking your posts, checking in randomly, or showing up when you least expect it. That's his way of saying, I may be trying to keep my cool, but I can't stay away. And let me tell you, if he's orbiting around you like that, you've got more power in the situation than you think. Because here's the truth. Men don't orbit around women they don't value. That pull is his fear talking, not his lack of interest. The danger comes when you start chasing during the pull back. If you chase him when he's pulling away, he feels pressured, and that makes him retreat even more. The best thing you can do is hold your ground. When he pushes away, let him go. Don't panic. Because if he's really hooked, he's gonna pull himself back in. And when he does, he comes back stronger each time. So the push-pull game ain't really a game at all. It's a cycle men go through when they're caught between the comfort of independence and the risk of vulnerability. And the very fact that you're in that cycle with him means you matter. If he didn't care, there wouldn't be any push or pull. There would just be gone. Ladies, don't confuse distance with disinterest. If a man keeps coming back, circling your orbit, showing up in your life even after pulling away, believe me when I say he's already hooked. He might be fighting it, he might not be ready to admit it, but his actions tell the truth. And the truth is, you're already in his world deeper than he planned. That's a full 700-word expansion in Steve Harvey's raw, storytelling, humorous tone.